Hello there, everybody. I'm Anne-Marie with Light Happy Life, and I'm so excited to be here today with Dr. Tilean Clarke, who's joining us from London. Good morning, or good afternoon. I'm trying to remember what time difference we're at.
Afternoon, but yeah.
I'm like, what time? It's gray here and there today, but that's okay because we're going to have a great conversation. So Tilean, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your story?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a chartered psychologist turned success coach. But really what happened was I had been going through life. I'm very much of a doer. I'm a go-getter. I'm a striver. And I'm a big giver as well. And so as a psychologist, as a natural born helper, I was give, and give in to everyone around me. Maybe, you know, some of your audience and yourself can relate.
Absolutely.
And given so much that I got to a point where I didn't even realize that I was just drained. I was drained and I was stressed out, and I didn't, you know, I just couldn't really make sense of what was going on around me. And at that time as well, I was going through a marriage breakup, and just really my addiction to giving became too much, right? And so I had to kind of work out how I can come out of that place of where I felt quite low. And so I decided to start using some of the mindful tools that I would use with my clients. So I tell everyone else how to be mindful and why it's so important, but I wouldn't incorporate those tools into my life every day. I would use them every now and then, but I wouldn't use them every day, even though I know the benefits of using mindful tools every single day. And so it took me to a place where I almost felt knocked to my knees. And so I started practicing mindfulness and meditation every day. And the transformations it had in my own life was just so profound that I was like, wow, this really does work, even though I knew it, right? So, you know, and my life changed so much. I was able to become more clearer on what I wanted to do with my own life. I was able to give even more to people because I was now filling my own cup. And I was just so much happier, so much more freer. And I was also naturally lost weight and things like that. Like, there were so many benefits really that once I incorporated it into my daily life, it made such a change. And that's why I include it in everything I do, from work to my personal life.
That's awesome. So because you are a chartered psychologist, I have to ask, so what's the impact of the brain on mindfulness?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, like the brain, we have I'm going to talk about kind of two bits briefly, but we have like the part of the brain which kind of located here just above the eyebrows, and that's like responsible for all the marvelous things. So where we can multitask, or we can become creative, or we can say, oh yeah, this is what I need to plan or do, or plan a birthday party or a wedding or whatever it is. Yeah, that's that part of the brain. But then we have that middle part of the brain which can get really fired up. It can be it can really distract us from doing what we need to do. It can become caught up in the emotions, caught up in creating dramas, our own mental dramas in our head. And if you kind of imagine that part of the brain, the part of the brain which can kind of cause a fog against all that great stuff we want to do. If you kind of imagine that like a fire, mindfulness and meditation and taking that moment to pause and just be with you really is kind of like blowing out the fire. It's kind of like reducing that fire in your brain so that you can see more clearly, that you can just be much more greater and happier and fulfilled in what you need to do, because you've got more clarity in that headspace. So that is just in kind of an easy nutshell how it works. But you have to do it every day, like here and there and everywhere. It really doesn't work. And I know from personal.
Absolutely. So this is going to segue into, what's your number one mindful living tip that you can incorporate? Is it that practical mindfulness of
yeah definitely the practical mindfulness of every day taking just 10 minutes every day to just pause, right? And really just training yourself to understand how to pause. I know as busy people, we can feel like we don't have 10 minutes, but really, if you can just even split those 10 minutes up into 10 1 minutes in the day, that is even going to make such a difference to your life. Even if you have to lock yourself in the toilet, or I don't care where you do it, in the car. But just take that time to have a pause.
Yeah.
Because once you introduce a pause into your life, you'll become much more responsive in being able to respond in a way that is beneficial for you and the people around you, rather than being so reactive in your life and just something happens, you react, something happens, you react. You become much more able to see something happens and you can respond in a way that is going to be beneficial for you first and foremost, and also those around you.
Yeah, that's so important. And that is so why being mindful matters.
Mm.
You know, we talk about this practice and I agree completely. It's start with a minute, right? Work to 5 minutes, try and get 10 minutes. Like, you don't have to be there for 2 hours a day. Like, this is not that. And it's just that making mindful time for you matters so that you can see and be aware for the rest of the day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So one of the things I love, so that you're so passionate about, I'm actually going to quote you right now, which I don't often like quote everybody, but this one, I told her earlier, by the way, everybody, I'm like, I'm totally stealing this for everything, is how can you escape the noise around you to rebalance and reconnect with the most important person you know, and that's you. So tell us a little bit about how women can take time for themselves.
Absolutely. You know, I personally, from going through my own experiences, I personally make it dedicated time once a year to retreat. Yeah. So that's where it's not a holiday, it's not a fancy holiday in a destination to escape life and just, you know, but it's actually to go away and to really reconnect with yourself, to really kind of take that time of pausing to really understand you, to build up your own personal wellness plan, to incorporate into your life. That's what a retreat is about. And I personally take that once a year. So I'd certainly encourage that. But also on a day-to-day basis, really, as I said, just giving you that chance to even just wake up that 10 minutes earlier, or, you know, in a lunch break, maybe removing yourself into another room or going for a walk. Mindfulness, you know, it doesn't have to be still. You don't have to sit down and do it. You can go on a mindful walk or whatever it is for you that you need to kind of take that time to just pause and just be just for that 10 minutes, right? And you really need to start incorporating that into your life, because unless you start giving to yourself, unless you start really seeing you as that most important person in your life, you are going to feel drained, you're going to feel stressed, you're going to feel the pressure, and you're going to break, right? And I don't want that for anyone. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Like, I just let out a sigh of relief, because you're absolutely right. Like, you know, I've been there so many times. It's build up, and you react and you don't let go. Yeah. And then sometimes it's really hard to even start with that 1 minute. So the idea of a retreat, which you have as a standard offering, and I love, so yours is in Barbados in June, which, I mean, hello, Barbados, gorgeous. But I love the idea that it's a true retreat. It's not just getting away for the weekend, right? It's a retreat, and it's intended for women to go not only enjoy the beach and the water and everything that Barbados has to offer, but to have time to work on themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? Which is something that we forget. It's like we have to work on ourselves in the same way that we work on our house. We redecorate, you know, we spend time redecorating, or, you know, getting our hair done or whatever, but we don't take time for ourselves. And that's what I love about that idea of retreat, you know, and it's not just, like some of the ones I've seen are like more fitness retreats, but yours is really about the inner workings.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. Definitely check out your website, and your website is drtilean.com. I love it. I love that idea of a retreat. I'm going to have to see what I'm doing that week in June.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so my last question that I'm asking everybody, so what is your secret to a light, happy life?
My secret to happy life is I have morning me time. And so in morning me time, it's really just that time to just be, it's that time where I can do my gratitudes and recall what I'm being grateful for the past 24 hours, and just journal any concerns or, you know, how I want my day to be, and set my intentions. So just giving myself and gifting myself, I guess, as well, that time has just been my true secret to a happy life.
Oh, I love that. How long is your morning me time? I want to put this into perspective for everybody, right? Because again, like sometimes they think that we as coaches and you know, like light workers, that we're just spending hours and hours a day. So tell us how long it is.
Not at all. It really varies. So I do have like a dedicated day where I can have hours of morning me time, just because of the nature of my work.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to, you know, I have, for example, twice a week I have a client call at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not a 4 or 5 a.m. person to get up. That is not me at all. So on that day, my morning me time could be around, I would say, an hour, including like breakfast is included in my morning.
Got it.
Shower is included in my morning me time. So that would be like an hour would be the time where I'd have my breakfast, my coffee, you know, without feeling rushed. My shower, being able to I'd take about 10 minutes that day, so it wouldn't be much longer. I would take 10 minutes to just be. And it's really just that, almost that getting ready stage, which you may have in your life already, but maybe it's a bit chaotic, and you can kind of look at ways of how you can take away some of that chaos, such as if you reach for your phone straight away, or, you know, you've got the noise of the TV or the radio on straight away, and like maybe you can reduce things to have that morning me time as morning me time.
That's a brilliant idea, because so many of us, like, we all just get ready, right? Like I got ready this morning. It's like, can you be mindful during that time? Yeah. Maybe you do want to sit down with a journal, you know, and which I love, sit down for 5 minutes and just breathe and figure out how you want to feel for the day. But then think about that entire hour block of your getting ready time as your time for you, right?
Exactly.
And see what you can figure out. And obviously there's chaos if you've got little ones running around or something like that. Yeah. But you know what, like, figure out where you can find a few minutes.
Absolutely.
You know, I love your approach because it's so realistic. And the idea of a retreat is such a unique idea. I think, you know, as you try to figure out how can I get into this, sometimes you need to go away to connect inward.
Yes, you do. Yeah, really, definitely. Especially mums as well, or like if you're in that corporate environment and you're busy and everybody else's kind of needs are, you know, quite prominent in there. It's really important to be able to come away and remove yourself from that noise, from that stress, and just be and kind of see. But I definitely do it in a way that people can create a wellness plan that's going to fit with their life when they get back. So we'll definitely be thinking about those things as well on the retreat.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your tips with the Light Happy Life crew. I really appreciate it. And you have a wonderful afternoon.
No problem. Thank you. You too.